Comparing the 2026 Porsche Cayenne Turbo-Electric vs the 2026 BMW 9 xDrive60 is very interesting. They are quite different EVs in positioning, but both deliver strong performance. Below is a detailed comparison, and trade-offs, between the two based on their known specs, as of now. Key specs comparison. Here are the main performance and technical parameters for both. 2026 Porsche Cayenne Turbo-Electric. Power/peak output, up to 850 kilowatts, 1139 HP, in overboost/launch control mode. In normal driving, up to 630 kW, 844 HP, plus push-to-pass gives plus 130 kilowatts. Acceleration, 0 to 100 km per hour 2.5 seconds, with launch control. Top speed, 260 km/h, for turbo-electric. Battery/range, battery, 113 kWh, gross, double-sided cooling, per Porsche. Range, combined 565, 623 km, depending on variant, per Porsche. Charging, very high speed, up to 390 kilowatts DC, under ideal conditions, and potentially up to 400 kilowatts. Porsche claims 10 rightward-80% in 16 minutes under optimal conditions. Efficiency/consumption, preliminary, 20.4 to 22.3 kWh/100 km, combined, for the turbo-electric. Torque and cooling, very high torque, up to 1500 nanometers reported in some specs for launch mode. Uses direct oil cooling for the rear electric motor. Drive layout, AWD, 2 motors, as well. Other performance features. Active aerodynamics, active aero blades, to optimize drag/efficiency. Rear axle steering optional. High recuperation, very high energy recovery during braking. 2026 BMW 9 xDrive60. Power/peak output, 536 HP, 400 kW, and 564 lb-ft, 765 nanometers, torque. Acceleration, 0 to 100 km per hour 4.4s, 0 to 60 miles per hour per BMW, which roughly maps close to 0 to 100 km per hour. Top speed, electronically limited to 200 km/h, 124 miles per hour. Battery/range, usable battery, 109.1 kWh per BMW. EPA estimated range, up to 364 miles, 586 km, for 2.0 wheels. But with larger wheels the range drops, e.g. 318 miles for 2.3. EPA estimated range, up to 364 miles, 586 km, for 2.0 wheels. But with larger wheels the range drops, e.g. 318 miles for 2.3. Charging, peak DC fast charging, 195 kilowatts for xDrive60. BMW estimates 35-minute to go from 10% rightward arrow 80%. Efficiency/consumption, not always stated in kilowatt-hour/100 km in public spec sheets, but the larger battery plus improved power electronics, 6 semiconductors, help make it more efficient. Torque and cooling, 765 nanometers system torque per BMW spec sheet. Drive layout, AWD, dual motor, as well. Other performance features. 5th Gen BMW xDrive architecture. Uses 6 semiconductors for better efficiency. Strong charging strategy, though not as fast as Porsche in peak DC. Analysis, strengths, trade-offs, and use cases. Porsche Cayenne Turbo-Electric pros and when it makes sense. Extreme performance, with over 1100 HP in launch overboost, it's clearly built to deliver very high-performance EV driving, likely rivaling supercars in acceleration. Very fast charging, the ability to charge up to 400 kW means very short charging stops, in ideal conditions, which is excellent for long-distance, sporty driving. Luxurious and dynamic handling, given it's a Porsche SUV, expect sport car-like handling, sophisticated chassis, and potentially rear axle steering for better agility. Range, the given 565 to 623 kilometers, model range, is very competitive if you mostly use it for sport and long trips. This is a strong point. Versatility: as an SUV, it can serve both as a performance machine and a more practical EV for family/longer journeys.